Good evening and a very warm welcome to your English news package with radio and television Tonga for the hour. Making headlines, electricity has increased in the tariff by 3.14 centi per kilowatt, effective on Saturday last week. US announces $5 million commitment to the University of the South Pacific for Fellowship program, and Whāmotu International Airport full emergency response put to the test in Operation Hunga Airways 2022. Now with the stories in details. The electricity has increased in the tariff by 3.14 centi per kilowatts effective on Saturday last week, October the 1st. Mark Age tells you more.
The new tariff of 119.86 centi per kilowatts is the new electricity tariff to be adopted by Tonga Power Limited and will be reviewed on a quarterly basis with respect to the movement in diesel prices and also on an annual basis according to the movements in inflation. The acting chairman of the Tonga Electric Commission, Ma'u says they are on a quarterly review of the regulated price of fuel, which has increased in the tariff by 3.14 centi per kilowatts. In fact, the total electricity tariff will increase from the current 116.72 centi per kilowatts to 119.86 centi per kilowatts. Javier adds it is understood that the regulated price of diesel has decreased in the last 2 months, but according to the prices of electricity, it will show after 2 to 3 months. The overall power generation from renewable energy sources is on average at 14% of Tonga Power Limited's total monthly power generation, to which its impact on their prices is included on this tariff calculation. However, Javier says they believe the sources of renewable energy will help with Tonga's electricity decrease, and they are hoping that Ukraine and Russia's conflict will end. The competent authority is the Tongan government agency whom sets the landed price of diesel, which Tonga Power Limited uses for their power generation.
The United States has announced a commitment of $5 million to establish a fellowship program in partnership with the University of the South Pacific under its roadmap for a 21st century U.S. Pacific Islands partnership. This Fellowship Resilience and Adaptation Fellowship Program for Rising Leaders is a commitment by the Biden-Harris administration together with the U.S. Congress will link USB and premier universities in the U.S. such as the University of Hawaii and the University of California, Santa Barbara, and offer rising leaders in the Pacific Islands the opportunity to gain expertise in natural resource economics and management, climate resilience, sustainable food systems, renewable energy development, water security, and waste management. The fellowship is a result of one of the 11 areas of cooperation made under the historic new partnership agreement between the U.S. and Pacific Island leaders during the U.S. Pacific Island Country Summit 2022, hosted by the U.S. President Joe Biden, with leaders from 12 Pacific Island countries. USB Vice Chancellor and President Professor Paul Aluwalia welcomed this announcement and said they are delighted that the U.S. administration has chosen USB to collaborate with leading universities in the U.S. on this fellowship program. Climate change and sustainable development continue to be major issues for the Pacific region. The region desperately needs relevant expertise to address climate change issues and byproducts while also building climate resilience. The government is strengthening and empowering all small Tongan construction companies to participate in government construction projects to help with their families' daily needs. Mark Age again with more on the story.
Rebuilding of houses for those who were affected from the tsunami in January is still underway, and at the same time, the government is empowering small Tongan construction companies to participate in the project. The Minister of Infrastructure, Honorable Seventini Tomo'ua, says building one house in this project is approximately 75,000 to 90,000 pa'anga, meaning 8 to 12 people who are building that house will get paid from this money. He says the overall money received for all the rebuilding from the tsunami devastation earlier this year is about 34 million pa'anga, but the faster their work will be, the faster this money will go to small Tongan constructions to help with their families and will also develop the economy. Despite this, Tomaua says this does not mean companies should compete to see who is the fastest at building, but instead they should ensure that the houses they are constructing will be safe for people who were affected. However, it is understood that this construction project is still underway at various locations in Tonga, including the construction in Masilamea for the people of Atata, Matatoa for the people of Kanokupolu, and Taanga Eua for the people of Mango Ha'apai, who were badly affected from the tsunami back in January.
And all airport stakeholders and emergency services completed a full emergency exercise named Hunga Airways 2022 at the Fuamotu International Airport on Friday last week. It is a biennial exercise where emergency operators, together with airport emergency responders, take procedures from a realistic situation to the test. The last exercise was held in 2019, with a 2021 exercise being cancelled due to COVID-19 restrictions. The full-scale exercise was designed to demonstrate a joint agency response in the immediate aftermath of an aircraft emergency in accordance with the airport's emergency plan and supporting agencies' emergency response plans with consideration for COVID-19 pandemic. The joint agency objectives aim to thoroughly test emergency procedures and responses and includes all participants which would be called upon in the event of a major aircraft incident at the airport. This year's exercise was also aimed at establishing better communication flow between key role players so they can test their access control and identification procedures to achieve the accepted outcomes. So it was important to role-play in the most realistic scenario possible. Exercise Operation Hunga Airways 2022 involved a theoretical aircraft that caught fire in its left engine on its way to landing on runway 11. Volunteers played the role of passengers and cabin crew. Airport emergency responders demonstrated their immediate response to passengers who were critically injured, those with mild injuries, death, and others not injured by the accident. The adequacy of procedures and coordination of emergency service organizations to an airport crisis. Stakeholders who participated in the exercise were Tonga Airport Limited or TAL, Tonga Fire Emergency Services, Ministry of Health, Tonga Police, Tonga Red Cross Society, His Majesty's Armed Forces, Air Terminal Services Limited, Palu Aviation, and all operational airlines like Virgin Australia, Air New Zealand, Fiji Airways, and Lulutai Airlines. Sports is up next with Mark Ake, and it is kindly sponsored by Pacific Timber and Hardware.
To Taekwondo, Tonga completed the Oceania Championship with 5 medals overall. The competition wrapped up yesterday with Team Tonga adding 2 more medals to their tally of 3 bronze medals in the final day of the tournament in Tahiti. Uhila Sokailangi won bronze in the 74 kg men's division, while Keliko Leo Motulalo won silver in the 87 kg men's division. The Tonga Taekwondo division said via social media that everyone in the team fought well in the past 3 days with so much invaluable experience gained from these competitions. On Sunday, Tonga won 3 bronze medals at the championship, Pauline Lolohea, Angel Sitapa, and Uhilalangi, all securing bronze in their respective weight divisions. The team trained in Tahiti with a few athletes from Team New Zealand and Team Samoa.
And that concludes tonight's English news package. But before we part, here's one final look at tonight's top stories. Electricity has increased in the tariff by 3.14 centi per kilowatt, effective on Saturday last week. U.S. announces $5 million commitment to the University of the South Pacific for Fellowship program, and Fuamotu International Airport's full emergency response put to the test in Operation Hunga Airways 2022. And that's it for tonight. Thank you for your company. I'm Ali Sidupo. Have a blessed evening.